This is Dante the Scribe, the 56th Warframe added to the game. He's one of the most spam-heavy Warframes ever made, and I think we're all wondering, how do we keep him alive? He has an exalted tome called Noctua, but most of his gameplay is casting your light and dark verses to form one of 4 final verses to really even the playing field. You'll realize pretty quick that needing to cast 2 verses in order to select your final verse will burn through a lot of energy. But that's where Noctua comes in, allowing you to use as many tome mods as you want. Plus, any enemy you fully scanned has 50% bonus status chance. His first ability is his exalted tome called Noctua. It shoots a pure slash shot with high crit chance that pierces enemies by summoning fragments to target other nearby enemies. The altfire is an energy wave that's girthier than the Lex Incarnate. The most important thing on this weapon is using the Zada invocation, which gives you 10 energy a second if you get full stacks. This allows you to avoid arcane energize and still have full energy all the time. I only use fire as the element to get more damage over time, which also leaves room for the Vohm invocation for free strength as well. His second ability is Light Verse. You and any allies within range are healed and granted a small amount of overguard. I only ever use this ability when I need to cast the different final verses, but you'll find yourself casting 2 of these for the Triumph final verse quite a lot. His third ability is Dark Verse. Anything within a 50-degree cone of view and within range is given 2 slash status effects and also staggered. Damage and range scale with mods, but you'd be surprised just how big the range actually is. And his final ability is called Final Verse, which is broken up into 4 parts based on which order you used your verses. 2 Dark Verses produces Tragedy. This is essentially the Expedite Suffering Helminth ability. All damage over time effects on enemies are accumulated and detonated instantly with a multiplier. The radius is affected by mods. And that's why I only use fire on Noctua just to get 1 more damage over time effect. 2 Light Verses produces Triumph. Give everyone 10 times as much overguard as a standard light verse, while also granting an overguard regeneration buff for a short duration after every kill. The regen duration is fixed at 2 seconds, but the amount of overguard does scale with mods. Just be ready to spam this ability. Overguard does have a damage gate just like shields, so keeping the regen active will help, but that'll just give you a chance to recast the ability if you're really in a bad spot. Casting a light verse then a dark verse produces Word Warden. This summons a copy of Noctua for the whole team to shoot enemies alongside every successful hit at 30% of your Noctua's damage. And finally, a dark verse then a light verse produces Page Flight. Summon 3 spectral peregrines to distract enemies while also increasing status chance on affected enemies and applying some slash procs. The main thing with Dante's Overguard is that it's not even close to Kullervo or Styanax in terms of true tank levels of defense, so having adaptation will help keep you alive once that Overguard gate breaks. He's also very spam heavy, so I've added Streamline and Primed Flow to get a decent balance of both Zenuric, Zada Invocation, and the Yellow Shard for more energy from orbs. Of course, I still have Arcane Grace in there for when my Overguard gate breaks, but Molt Augmented is also a great choice for free 60% power strength once you hit 250 kills. This pairs really nice with the 60% strength from the Vohm invocation that lasts for 20 seconds. Dante will definitely have a special place in my heart as a DPS frame. Noctua plays really well, and it's all about casting the double dark verse, then map wiping everything with Tragedy. Alright folks, here we are. As always, welcome back to the back half of the video. I've gotten this video started about 1.5 minutes into the gameplay, so I've obviously casted Triumph about 3 times already, but yeah, of course, this is Dante the Scribe. I've already got my Noctua fully set up. I'll explain that in a second, but I mean, kind of what I want to talk about in this, latter half of the video is kind of the reason for the title and things like that, because I think part of, me saying that, oh, Spam King ? Is like, in the end, once you actually get into it, it's like there's a few things to manage. There's Overguard to manage, there's your different page abilities, your Page Flight, Word Warden, all that stuff. But once you get that stuff down and you're managing your durations, and you're, if you're in a stressful situation, you're doing the double dark verse as always, and then just kind of clearing everybody out. And I mean, in the end, folks, like, the whole point with Dante is like, go into it expecting him to be a spam king, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. Like, I think if you go into this character and you're like, oh, well, I wouldn't even know what you would think, but I think the idea is just like, manage your overguard, you know, have some fun with tragedy as always, and then you have page flight and word warden, which are just the other two abilities that you need to keep active. I only have page flight active. You know, word warden doesn't scale from strength, so part of it is you just kind of cast it wherever you are. It's a very easy thing to keep active, but page flight, you do want to kind of get as much power strength as you can, but you know, even a decent amount is going to be pretty nice for you. So in the end, I think what you're kind of getting at is, of course, we're just doing some conjunction to kind of test it out. And if you're ever stressed, it's very simple. You have this tragedy ability, which is, like I said in the video, it is I mean, it's so simple. It's so easy to use. It's just one of my most favorite, like, it just plays so well. Like, there's no way around it. It's just, every time you do it, it's just, oh my god, it's perfect. And, you know, I think a lot of people in the community really like Expedite Suffering. Like, I've seen a couple videos about it, as always. But I think the idea is just, like, he leans into it so much. Like, you just get into it and you're like, oh my god, this tome is incredible, this alt fire is incredible. Like, it's such a simple and neat way to do things, and it's like, yeah, your alt fire is basically always charged. Like, it's essentially just a free alt fire as long as you're not doing the wrong thing. I do need to activate this guy real quick. I am kind of burning through my life support, you know, because I'm chatting it up as always. But I mean, folks, none of my durations are active. I caught myself sleeping, I caught myself talking to the camera as always, but that's kind of the gist of it. Is like, you know, in the end, once you've played him for a little bit, he's not as spam king as you may think from the get-go, but it's like, he is fun and he's crazy, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and you know, you're casting all your different verses, and I think it's just kind of crazy. You know, I guess I already said that, but I think what you're really seeing is just like, he complements everything. He's like, oh yeah, give me any weapon, give me any setup you want. You know, he can handle it. He's got some weird way to synergize with everything. Like, I know, I can tell. Like, we're gonna see some videos. I need to hit this. I have 2% on the life support. But yeah, I mean, folks, it's like, it's a lot to keep active, but that's only because I'm talking to the camera. Like, if you guys are just playing Warframe, like, he's not that bad. Like, he's kind of exactly what you want. He's just like crazy, and he's got a lot of wacky abilities that you have to kind of manage all the time, and it becomes a little stressful at certain points. But you know, like when I'm getting angst and all these guys coming in, I'm just gonna swap to my glaive, and that's kind of why you have certain things. Like, you have a certain gimme button, like an easy mode button. Like, pretty much, I've told you, like, most glaives are like pretty good. You know, I am at the 6-minute mark, so we are gonna just let it fail at this point, because I just want to kind of talk about it and do all this stuff. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just swap to the Torrid Incarnate for this. So what you're noticing is, like, I'm kind of letting all of the enemies get the better of me, so I'm gonna hit this. I mean, getting rid of one of them is fine, but yeah, folks, that's pretty much all I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of Dante or my build in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed and want to see more, please like the video and subscribe if you want to catch me live.